The land we know today as the Democratic Republic of Congo has a long and rich history. Going back thousands of years before written records, people lived in this region. Archaeological evidence tells us about their lives. They were hunter-gatherers, skilled at using the land's resources. They created tools, made pottery, and likely had complex social structures. These early inhabitants witnessed the arrival of Bantu-speaking people around 2000 BCE. The Bantu migrations brought new ways of life to the region, including agriculture and ironworking. These innovations allowed for larger settlements and more complex societies to develop. Over centuries, the Bantu languages and cultures spread throughout Central Africa, leaving a lasting impact on the region. The Congo River, a defining feature of the region, has always played a crucial role in the lives of its people. It served as a source of food, a means of transportation, and a route for trade. The river connected communities and facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas. The Congo River Basin became a melting pot of cultures, shaping the identity of the region. The arrival of Bantu-speaking people marked a turning point in the history of the Congo Basin. These migrations, spanning several centuries, brought new technologies and ways of life. Bantu groups introduced agriculture, cultivating crops like yams, bananas, and palm oil. This development allowed for more settled lifestyles and larger populations. Ironworking, another significant Bantu innovation, revolutionized toolmaking and warfare. With iron tools, people could clear land more efficiently for farming and create more durable weapons. The ability to produce iron gave certain Bantu groups a competitive edge, leading to the rise of powerful chiefdoms and kingdoms. The Bantu migrations were not a homogeneous movement but rather a complex process involving various groups with distinct languages and traditions. As they spread across the Congo Basin, they interacted with existing populations, exchanging cultural practices and ideas. This fusion of cultures contributed to the diversity and richness of the region's heritage. From the 14th to the 19th centuries, one of the most powerful states in Central Africa thrived on the lower Congo River, the Kingdom of Congo. This well-organized kingdom controlled a vast territory and engaged in extensive trade networks that stretched across the Atlantic. The kingdom's wealth came from ivory, textiles, pottery, and unfortunately later, the slave trade. At the helm of the Kingdom of Congo was the Congo, a powerful ruler who governed with the assistance of a complex administrative system. The kingdom was divided into provinces, each led by a governor who answered directly to the Congo. This hierarchical structure ensured stability and facilitated the kingdom's expansion. The arrival of the Portuguese in the late 15th century marked a turning point in the kingdom's history. Initially, relations were cordial, with both sides benefiting from trade. However, the Portuguese appetite for slaves grew, putting a strain on the relationship. Despite efforts by some Congo rulers to resist the slave trade, it ultimately weakened the kingdom, paving the way for its decline. European contact with the Congo Basin began in the late 15th century with the arrival of Portuguese explorers. Their initial interest was trade, particularly in ivory, copper, and slaves. The Portuguese established trading posts along the coast, exchanging European goods for local products. This marked the beginning of centuries of European involvement in the region. The transatlantic slave trade became a major driver of European interaction with the Congo Basin. European powers, including Portugal, France, and Britain, sought slaves to work on plantations in the Americas. This demand led to increased raiding and warfare in the region as local rulers were pressured or coerced into providing captives. The slave trade had a devastating impact on the Congo Basin. Millions of people were forcibly removed from their homes, tearing apart families and communities. This forced migration and the constant threat of raids destabilized the region, leading to widespread violence and the decline of once powerful kingdoms. The legacy of the slave trade continues to cast a long shadow on the Congo. The late 19th century witnessed the scramble for Africa as European powers competed to colonize the continent. King Leopold II of Belgium, driven by greed and a desire for personal empire, set his sights on the Congo Basin. Using deceit and manipulation, he managed to secure the region as his personal property, naming it the Congo Free State. Leopold's rule was characterized by brutality and exploitation. He established a system of forced labor, forcing the Congolese people to harvest rubber, ivory and other resources. Those who resisted were met with unimaginable cruelty. Leopold's agents used torture, mutilation, and mass killings to instill terror and maintain control. The atrocities committed under Leopold's rule are a dark stain on human history. Millions of Congolese people died from forced labor, disease, and violence. International outrage eventually forced Leopold to relinquish control of the Congo Free State to the Belgian government in 1908, but the damage was already done. The Congo had been plundered, its people traumatized, and its social fabric torn apart.